Hey, Shalom, Shalom. First and foremost, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory to due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakwadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, following this truth from will do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. To you, I say Shalom. Coming to you back with another lesson through the Spirit, and I'm entitled this one, This Current Place is Not It. Because this current place, this current kingdom, this current society being ran by Esau Edom, which is the self-proclaimed white man that was prophesied to rule in these latter days, in these last days, that he would have complete rulership of the entire planet Earth, from the skies to the lands to the even certain parts of the waters, the oceans, which ultimately we know that he can't go further than the firmament, or he can't really explore the ocean like he says that he does, because ultimately Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai has confined him, like it says in Job chapter 14, his bounds that he can't pass in, because the earth is not giving it its full yield to this devil, because he would just destroy it, because he's already to the point where he's gone out throughout the four corners of the earth. He's cuts the trees down, pollutes the water, pollutes the mind of these people with his ideologies, his philosophies, and now it's to the point where the whole world is corrupted. The food's corrupted, the GMO foods, the air's constantly being sprayed with chemtrails. The land is drying up, because ultimately the time of this devil ruling upon the planet Earth is just about up. But you still have people that are comfortable here. They don't want to leave America, Babylon the Great. They don't want this current kingdom to fall, and really they're in the wrong spirit, because really mainly our people are the only ones who could repent and turn back to Yahweh Ba'ashem Yahushai and understand what his will is, which ultimately is to destroy America and to establish the nation of Israel, which is going to be the kingdom of heaven upon the planet Earth. But majority of our people, they're not looking forward to that. They're looking forward to continuing here in this world and wiggling around and celebrating Christmas instead of looking forward towards the kingdom of heaven. The only ones who are going to be looking forward towards the kingdom of heaven are going to be the elect, while the rest of these 2/3 Israelites and these heathens, they're not going to look forward towards the kingdom of heaven, because they've gotten so accustomed to this world that they think that this is as good as it gets. But that's just not the case. This is Micah chapter 2 and verse 10. Arise ye and depart, for this is not your rest, because it is polluted. It shall destroy you, even with a sword destruction. And that's not going into leaving America, getting on a plane, getting on a boat, driving all the way to the other end of the world. This is going into detaching yourself mentally, spiritually, and even in a sense physically, because very soon this current society that we're so used to, going to work, paying taxes, that's about to be done away with, and we're about to have to be pilgrims upon the earth. And all these people that have that mindset of building here, building so-called generational wealth for their great-great-grandkids, getting comfortable in this life, they're about to get hit unexpectedly by what's about to come, which are all these different plagues, pestilences, the sword, the collapse of this economy, the collapse of this dollar. Majority of the people up on the planet Earth, they're not ready for that, because they haven't been departing from this place. And really, it's going to be mainly our people that are going to get hit, because really they're the only ones who are supposed to repent and leave this world behind for the next one to come. Ultimately, that's why it says in 2nd Ezra chapter 8, this world, this current world, is for many, but the one to come is for few, which that's ultimately going into the governing body, which is the elect of the nation of Israel, which comprises of the so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. The rest of these 2/3 Jakes and these heathens, they're not going to partake in that governing body of Israel. There's going to be the kingdom of heaven here on the planet Earth. This is Proverbs 29 and verse 2. When the righteous are in authority, the people rejoice. But when the wicked bear rule, the people mourn. And the whole world is mourning. We're mourning, crying out to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai to bring this devil down and to establish a nation of Israel upon the planet Earth. So finally, the whole world can rejoice. Because everybody's mourning right now. The people, the animals, the sea life, the fowls of the air, the trees, the oceans. The whole earth as a whole is groaning because of this devil, the so-called white man, Esau Edom. That's ultimately why he has to get brought down, because if you was to let this devil continue ruling, he would just destroy the whole earth. He would destroy himself. That's why all those AI movies, it always has AI taking over and eventually wiping humanity almost out, because that's what would happen if you was to let Esau Edom continue to rule. That's why Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is going to have to bring him down ASAP very soon, because this devil he's at his point of his wickedness. Fucking everything up. He's constantly raising prices. People ain't able to afford groceries. This is Ezekiel chapter 9 and verse 4. And the Lord said unto him, go through the midst of the city, through the midst of Jerusalem. And Jerusalem is a people before is a place. And where is the large concentration of Israelites? Here in America, Babylon the Great. It says, and set a mark upon the foreheads of the man to sigh, and that cry for all the abomination to be done in the midst thereof. And who are the ones who are crying out to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai to bring the devil down, to bring Yahweh Shai back, to destroy these damn heathens, and these 2/3 are going to be the elect. That's why they're going to have that mark, which that word mark, that's going into the Dawa, which is the mark of exemption. They're going to be exempt from all the mass judgment, all the mass death that's about to take place here on the planet Earth. Because majority of our people, they're not crying out to Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai for these wicked ass Jakes to get put to death, for these heathens to get put to death. No, you have our people in the spirit of wanting these heathens to be saved. Here you tell Jake that he's an Israelite and that salvation is only for Israel, but it's always the first thing. Oh, can a white man be saved? He's not worried about Moab or Ishmael. He's worried about the white man. That's why Yahweh Bashim Al-Shai is going to have to just destroy these 2/3 Israelites along with these heathens. This is Ecclesiastes chapter 7 verse 2. It is better to go to the house of mourning than to go to the house of feasting. For that is the end of all men, and the living will lay it to his heart. And majority of the planet Earth, they're starting to feel that spirit of mourning, because now the holiday season don't feel the same. People are getting laid off. You got family members being divided amongst themselves. But yet people are still trying to have a good old jolly ass time when this kingdom is collapsing. But ultimately they want to force that spirit of mirth, because they're trying to cope. They're trying to cope with reality. They're trying to cope with all these prices rising on a daily basis, inflation at an all-time high. Nobody's hiring. People bugging the hell out, deleting each other. But ultimately, the hopeful elect, they're going to be in the spirit of mourning even before all hell breaks loose, because very soon the roles are going to be reversed. All these 2/3 Israelites and these heathens, they're going to go from feasting and partying and having a good old time to going into that house of mourning, like it says in the day of adversity, there is no remembrance of prosperity, and that's what's going to happen. These people aren't going to remember these so-called good times, going to the club and the going to the family gathering and the family Thanksgiving dinner and the family parties, the birthday parties. That's about to be done away with, but the reason why these people do that is because this is all they know. This is all they've been taught by this system, by Esau, Edom, that, you just go to work, you get a job, and you graduate college, and you get a better job, you get a family, you get a wife, you get the white picket fence. That's what our people have been indoctrinated to know. Just Babylon the Great, work. Don't worry about nothing else, but just go to work, pay your taxes, don't ask no questions. Verse 3, sorrow is better than laughter, for by the sadness of the countenance the heart is made better. Going into the being in the correct spirit. We're not just out here in that woe is me spirit 24/7. But ultimately for the most part, we have our moments of folly. Brothers make get together and fellowship. But other than that, once that's over, we go back to reality. Having to deal with Esau, Edom at the job, having to deal with Eve at the job. But ultimately we know that this is the end all be all. Like majority of the people upon the planet Earth think it is. That's why very soon, with all that laughter and ha ha ha, that's about to vanish in a blink of an eye when all hell breaks loose. Verse 4, the heart of the wise is in the house of mourning, but the heart of the fool is in the house of mirth. And these fools, these 2/3 Israelites, these heathens, they're in the house of mirth, chilling, not worried about a damn thing, thinking that shit's never gonna pop off, that things are gonna continue as they are. They're gonna keep celebrating Thanksgiving and Christmas and New Year's for eternity. There's gonna be a Super Bowl 250, and there's gonna be a 80th president. No, that America's done. It's done away with. It's reached its peak, and it's been falling down ever since. That's why next year you have the 250 year of America, being a country, but very soon this shit's about to be out the door. That's why this is what majority of the people don't consider. They think that things are going to continue as they are because they haven't been hit with war at their front step. But very soon Babylon's about to get touched. It's not going to be called tender and delicate no more. It's not going to be no virgin no more. This is Isaiah 51 and verse 14. The captive exile hasteth that he may be loosed, and that he should not die in the pit, nor that his bread shall fail. And we're hastening the day of our release date from this captivity, from this hell that we're in. But ultimately we know that it's all in due time. But we're in that mindset of wanting to get the hell up out of here, while majority of our people are chilling. They want to stay in Egypt. They got the melons and the leeks and the cucumbers. Now in this modern day age, Jake has McDonald's and Burger King and Starbucks and Popeyes and Netflix and BET and World Star. They don't want to leave America. But that's why Yahweh Bashim Shah is about to send a great famine. He's about to send Esau, Edom with the sword, to destroy the wicked of our people, because they don't want to get the hell up out of here. If it was up to our people, to the 2/3 of our wicked ass people, we would be here for eternity. That's why Yahweh Bashim Shah is not going to deliver the whole nation like he did in the time of Exodus. No, he's only coming to deliver the elect, starting with the 144,000, the large multitude, because they're in the mindset of wanting to get the hell up out of here. Because ultimately we know that this place is wicked, is being ran in complete wickedness by Esau, even the self-proclaimed white people, the tiny caps. And ultimately we know how the earth is supposed to be ran. It's supposed to be ran in righteousness with the law, statutes, commandments at the forefront, and that's not being done right now. That's why everything's out of order. Everything's whack. Nothing is running how it's supposed to. But that's ultimately because Esau Edom's in the current rulership position. But Yahweh Shem Shah is about to get him up out of here, because this devil, he just does nothing but fucks the earth up. But that's pretty much the point. I pray this is edifying to the elect. I want to give all praises, honor, and glory that's due to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahushai, Ba'ashem Rakakodash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who I learned this truth from, who do well. Peace and salutations to the 144,000, the rest of the elect. Unto you I say shalom.